everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Mansplaining Show with Jake and Dave. I'm Dave.
I'm Jake. What's up,
Hey,
guys?
what's up? Welcome to the show. Four guys by dudes trying to give advice to the 22-year-old versions of themselves and clearly not listening to that either. So, welcome to the show, guys. If it's your first time here, we appreciate it. If you're watching this like a rerun on Twitch, you can get the audio of this if you go to Spreaker and Mansplaining Show with Jake and Dave. We're also on Spotify. We're on iHeartRadio. We're on Apple. We're on everything, man. So come check us out. We also have just started a locals page, which we're trying to figure out what to put on it and build it. But if you guys want to be part of the community and maybe start, ask a question as far as like anything about a previous episode and everything, and you want to ask us, you can go to mansplainingjd.locals.com. Check that out. There is a zero fee subscription on that, so that way you don't have to pay anything. But we do have some premium content that we're going to put behind a little paywall because, fuck it, we've put at least 300. Well, it's 32 hours, at least, right? Yeah, 32
Yeah.
episodes, 32 hours at least. So we're like, fuck it. We're going to put a little something on there. But other than that, man, guys, welcome. If you're in the Denver area, you can check out Disjointed Denver Comedy on Meetup. That's where when we have things like Bear and Mike's or Bear and Dave's semi-professional open mic for comedic embetterment. This pretty much almost every Sunday over at X Saloon. You can catch all the details on that Meetup or any other shows that I'm putting on. So yeah, that's it. I wanted to get the plugs right out of the way, up top.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Right at the beginning.
Yeah. So for those of you who are watching, Jake will be smoking cigarettes because he's in the Kia Studios. Yeah, the Kia Studio.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Kind of have to be today.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's 8 o'clock. Those kids got to go to sleep. I get it.
Oh yeah, and they were screaming something fierce, so they must have like. The thing is, they're three now, so like they're in that like I don't want to listen to you stage.
Right.
So it's hard. It's not fun. Like I'm barely an insider. Like I'm just living there. Like
Right.
I deal with them sometimes.
Mm.
Like I love them. They're great. But like I can see how raising 2, 3 year olds gotta just be like, woof.
Yeah. It makes it feel
Yeah.
for the single parent, feel bad for the single parent, right?
Oh my god, yeah.
That's freaking
Definitely.
nuts. So it's kind of funny because I could also see the street behind you, and I'm like, hey, who's pulling up behind? Keeping an
Yeah,
eye out
right.
for
Yeah.
you. So Jake's in the Kia Studios. I'm in my little studio out here in Denver, Colorado, and I am not smoking, but I have this thing called a fume, which the more I look at this thing, the more I'm wondering if it was a good buy or not. I'm still got to use it, and see if it works. Otherwise, I got to try to do patches or lozenges again or something. But either way, it's supposed to be made to help you quit smoking. So what it
Yeah.
is, guys, it's like this little wood carved tube thing that you have, and then you put these little cores in there, and these cores have different oils in them, and you kind of fray the oil. I mean, I'll even show you guys on the camera. Little coils look like this, right? They look like cigarette
Okay.
filters, basically, and you're supposed to fray it open so that way you get that's supposed to like break up or whatever the oil or something that's in it, I guess. You put it in here and then you just breathe in like you're pretending you're not smoking a wooden cigarette.
Uh,
And what it is it's just a lot of sense. There's no vape in it. It's very low tech, guys. Um, and they have a couple different ones. Like there was one, like the names of them are really strange. There's like Overcome, which is like if you're trying to quit smoking, that has like a licorice plus a black pepper and a eucalyptus. Like it's really strong stuff and everything. So when you inhale this, your mouth and your nose and everything gets filled with all these different scents. And it's the people around you are definitely going to notice using it. If they thought that smoking was bad, like the amount of scents that are going to come through, they're like, geez, why does this smell like a fucked up potpourri? I'm like, oh, it's my fume. Sorry. But yeah, they have like Overcome, Invigorate, Berry Blast, Gay Sex, Spit Roast. I don't know the names that they have for these things. They just
it's their salt and it's their salt and vinegar fucking flavor.
Yeah, exactly.
J6.
But yeah, it was pretty weird. I'm like, overcome, invigorate, chai blast, and then I was like, berry blend, and then Jenny, actually we almost said it at the same time. We're like, gay sex is the next one. Suck a dick, that's another one. Oh yeah, either way. So I don't know. I've got all these different things. Like I said, I'm gonna try it. So I'm hoping for the best because I would really like to not smoke anymore.
Yeah.
And we'll see how that goes. But I'm a little subdued this week, Jake. Um,
Yes.
is because I finally got past the craziest part. Like this, for all intents and purposes, all of our big caterings for the month of December are over at the job that I work at, and
Yeah.
it was rough, man. Like
Oh, bad. Okay.
I went 2 weeks working 8 to 12 hours a day, depending on which day. Of 2 weeks, no days off. So I know there's people who work longer than that, but I am not used to that. So it was pretty rough. It was just kind of a stressful day. It's like you get to before you even step in the door, you're in the weeds. That's pretty much what it
Oh,
felt like.
fuck.
And
Okay.
I'm like, all right. So I finally got through it, and now that the amount of hours that's going to be needed to run that place have dropped considerably, I'm like, great. Let's start getting rid of all this dead weight. So,
Yeah.
um, so I'm guessing it's not up to me. It's up to my boss, and it's really his call. But I showed him like, this is how many people you actually need to run this restaurant on a daily basis. So you don't necessarily have to schedule as many people as you think you do. Here's what it looks like, and what you should would be a good example. He's like, interesting, because we have a lot of guys that just like decide to show up whenever they want, call out for no reason, Fridays, Saturdays, and stuff, and maybe they might come in on Sunday. And I mean, I get it. They're young guys. They're in their 20s. Not that that's an excuse, but I remember being stupid when I was younger. But for me, I had to work. I had, but it's going to be really interesting to see, like, well, how many people call out at least once a week? Great. Okay, lower their shifts by one, and they can
Yeah.
have their other shift back when they actually show up for all four shifts. You know what I mean? Oh, you show up only show up 2 out of 3 days out of the 5 days. Well, we're only scheduling 2 days now, and we're gonna do it on a Friday and Saturday, the days we absolutely know you don't want to come into work. So,
Yeah. Right.
and there's sorry, let me take off his jacket. Little things like that. We've had some weird. Do you remember like when you hire somebody and they seem pretty good for the first day or two, but then suddenly you start going like, wait a minute, this person might be nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have one of those too. So it's every one of this person's stories keeps seeming more and more outrageous every time they're talking. Where it gets to the point you're like, really, mm-hmm, really, Oh yeah, I know, absolutely, man. Like, freaking, my girlfriend, she lives in Canada. You wouldn't know her, but she's like just totally a model, basically.
Oh
I'm like,
no.
really?
Okay.
Mm-hmm. You know, this is the same person I think that I mentioned on a previous podcast where I saw my own lie reflected in somebody else's, where they're like, nope, I work out and I watch my diet, but this person is just as fat, if not fatter than I am. I'm like, shut up. No, you're not. Because I know when I say that to people, I'm absolutely bullshitting myself and anybody else who's willing to buy it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, either way, we're curious to see what's going with that. Um, we got a couple of new amigos working with us, which is pretty awesome. Because basically,
Nice.
we're like, this kitchen just needs more Mexicans, man. That's just basically what. There's too much stuff. These guys aren't getting it done. We just need more Mexicans. And that's uh, which I know if anybody just caught that one part and were like, yeah, it's messed up. Hey, work in a kitchen sometime. You know exactly what I mean. So
Yeah.
possibly one of the guys that I used to work with at my last job, the guy that I trusted the most, like the best employee, he's probably starting this week. So I'm like, ooh, like, yeah, he's gonna
Yeah.
be pretty good. I'm like, yeah, he's like basically I don't need three of you if he's working here. Like that's how good he is.
I I can remember when I was living in New Hampshire, right, in this town called Dover. Which
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually going. I'll talk about that later. But I'm going up to there to visit. It's already we figured it out, but I'll talk about that later. Um, there was a burrito place called I think it was called Four Amigos or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. It was four white guys. It was four like college age, like fucking, like one of his buddies was a culinary dude,
Ugh.
like white guys, and they made burritos.
But they did
And
stupid
these
shit with
things
them.
were the fucking worst burritos I think I've ever had in my entire life, ever, anywhere. They were bland, like they just didn't have it. It was just like nothing.
Yeah.
It was like eating just fucking like if someone just cooked some ground beef
Mm-hmm.
and put it out. You know what I'm saying? That's all.
Ugh.
It's no flavoring in it.
Right.
Just
They putting any
raw,
salt in anything.
not raw beef, but like just nothing beef, just cooked beef in its own fat. That's all it was. And I'm like, at least I look because it had no flavor. Nothing
Yeah.
had flavor. It's like I just had COVID and I lost all my like I couldn't taste or smell anything.
Right.
That's what this burrito tasted like. It tasted like COVID side effects. It was fucking bad. It was so bad.
They
And I had
specialized in
friends that
COVID
like,
burritos.
yeah. Like I had friends that would like, cause this is when I used to move furniture for a living. So we would hit up lunch spots all over the place.
Yeah.
You know, because we'd be out on the road. And we're coming back or whatever. We're having our lunch and then we find a place. We went there once, and I swore I'd never go there again. And they would try and get me to go there. I'd be like, no, fuck that. I would literally walk half a mile down the road and eat at a fucking pizza buffet place.
Yeah.
You know, that costs way too much money, but that's a whole other story.
So this is how I always felt about like when people started talking about cultural appropriation. I didn't really want to listen to any of their arguments because I'm like, well, dude, I come from a mixed family, you know, and
Yeah.
I know that's not where the conversation starts, but I'm pretty sure that's where it's going to lead to at some point. Give it about 5-10 years, and that's what, if you know, the folks who I felt that are like, no, we have to protect all these other cultures. It's basically just another form of segregation to me. And
Yeah.
you know, and either way, if you come from a mixed family, you know how hot interracial sex is, and it's it's why you keep that party going.
Yeah, I've had it before. You're not wrong. I've had it before. You're not wrong.
It is.
It's fucking. It is the bee's knees.
So I'm like, nah, dude. I think freaking every culture should appropriate all the other cultures. We're gonna become this new thing. You know, new cultures have rise out of it and everything, and this is how we evolve and everything. But then I go into Chipotle and I see nothing but freaking white teenagers back there, and I'm like, ah, shit. I know this burrito's gonna suck ass. Like, it's like if you go to
yeah, exactly.
You just know it's gonna fuck up.
But it's weird because it's like it's not every prejudice is a bad thing.
Yeah.
Or not, you know what I'm saying? You know?
You just didn't know, like, if they put a sign out there that said, listen, we only got freaking rich white kids who are making food here, come on in, then you'd be like, well, at least I know what I'm getting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That part I kind of understand. But if it was, if you go into a place expecting, like, authentic Mexican cuisine, and then you see that, you're like, oh, wait a second, this is not going to be good.
No, I mean, I don't know, man. Like I've lived in a bunch of different places, and I think what you this whole like let's all blend together thing. I get that, but yet at the same time, I think people still need their own thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I get that too. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, but like I think what we should focus on is like having these groups know about each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That way, like a lot of this shit that people think negatively about whatever group, you know, can either get squashed or like that group can go, oh yeah, we kind of do fuck up on on that sometimes, you know, or something. I don't know, but like I think that if like we just instead of just staying away from each other, we kind of like we interacted and understood what that person was about, but you know what I'm saying, but left them alone or
yeah,
you know, didn't fuck with them, but didn't like, you know what I'm saying?
I remember I had one of my bosses at the airport. We had this, I forgot what the fella's name, one of our the guys he was like our prime guy that we would want to put on the Pizza Hut line because he was always really good at it. And he was from Thailand, right? And he's a good guy. Just he would call out once a month out of nowhere. That's the only bad thing about this dude. Other than that, if he was there, he was your top guy. And my manager was really pissed off him one day. He's like, man, this guy, he was fucking up. He wasn't, you know, he ruined a whole rack of dough and all this other stuff, and I don't know what the hell's going on with him. And I'm trying to talk to him, and he's just sitting there smiling at me the entire time. And he knew I was pissed off. I mean, how disrespectful do you got to be? And I'm like, dude, I don't know if you know this, but people from Thailand, when they get embarrassed, they smile. He's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. If somebody's yelling at them, when their first reaction is going to be to smile back because they're embarrassed. He wasn't being disrespectful to you. And he's like, really? Yeah, I didn't know that. I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, holy shit, I think I owe that guy an apology. But, like there's some folks in certain cultures, they don't want to make eye contact when you're talking to them because it's a sign of
Yeah.
disrespect. While in a lot of like Anglo cultures, like eye contact is very important, so there's always these little things like that. If you don't know about it, there could be a lot of like crossed wires and stuff going on there. And shit can go real
Oh
bad
yeah,
real
like
quick.
there was a guy running for president years ago. I want to say it was Bill Richardson.
Mm-hmm.
He's a Democrat. I think he was the governor of New Mexico or something like that.
Oh, okay, I think I remember.
Yeah, he was like the Secretary of State, I think, at the time. He told this story about when he went to go meet Saddam Hussein. They're trying to like do some sort of peace talk or some shit, right?
Yeah.
He gets in the room and he fucking he's his feet are on the ground, but his feet are kind of elevated as far as like he's crossing his feet,
Yeah.
so you can see the soles of his shoes.
Yeah, that's considered an
And
insult.
Saddam sees this and flips the fuck out. He's like, "And fuck you!" And basically, it's like giving like the fucking double birds.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Right as you walk in the fucking door. Like,
yeah.
And you're like the forever president of fucking Iraq who doesn't take any shit from nobody.
Right.
So yeah, you're gonna get hot. But he had no idea what he did. He had no fucking clue. And then he had to apologize. He's like, yo, I'm sorry. Which had to be weird as fuck.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
Now you apologize for all the people you killed. You showed me the bottom of your shoe. That's way worse. Like, how is that worse?
Yeah. But that Saddam's not wrong though. Like he does deserve an apology. Yeah. I'm not saying he's a good guy. I'm just saying, Ty goes to the runner. You know what I mean?
Right. Man, let's see. Oh yeah, so the reason why we're recording on Monday instead of last Friday is because Jake got in a fight with some edibles, and
oh god,
and he lost.
Ooh, man. First time in a while, man.
Yeah.
I can normally handle my shit. I'm fine.
Yeah, no, totally. But if there's anybody who doesn't handle their stuff, it would be like me, right? Because I don't get high very often at all. Like I think you've probably seen the amount of times that I've gotten high, because like every time if everybody's passing a joint, I rarely ever take it. I'm stuck on these things.
The amount of times I've done a podcast sober versus stoned, it's easily 6 times as many stoned as sober.
Right.
Honestly, I mean when you think about it, that's every single, use your words.
Mm-hmm.
That's every single you people.
Yep.
There was other ones that I did where like I went outside to go smoke a blunt with somebody, and then we went back in and did a podcast, and I was like, "Hi," but I just soldiered on. But like I hadn't done it in like 2 months or so, right? Because I was looking around getting jobs, and I got a job, but it would random you. So I was like, I'm not playing that game. I know how that works. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because it'd be one thing if this shit was only in your system for like a week. Mm-hmm. I would take that gamble, honestly. If I could eat on a Sunday and realize by the next week, by the following work week, it's out of my system, I'd take that bet. I would take that challenge. It might burn me, but I think I would win more than I'd lose. But randoms, man, who the fuck knows? And also, if they get a bug up their ass, they'll hit you with a random.
Yeah.
That shit ain't random in that respect.
Right.
They want you gone. And they probably assume you're smoking or doing something like that.
Yeah.
They just want to get you out on a technicality. Oh, you're a pothead. You gotta go. In reality, you smoked a joint like 2 weeks ago. But
that's Arizona, definitely.
But I have a job. I've got a job now that doesn't really do that. As long as you don't fuck up and come in stoned and fuck shit up, you don't give a fuck. So as long as you do your job and that, he told me today, the guy that I work for, he's like, I don't mind if you break shit as long as you can put it back together again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, fair enough. Touche. So, but no, it's a good job, man. This job is, I don't know. This is like one of my, I don't know how the fuck I got this job. I'm not saying like I'm not gonna be good at it, but it's just one of those jobs where I'm like, I could have gotten one of these all along. Like I'm making good money. Like I don't know what to do with my. You know what I'm saying? Have you ever
Mm.
made good money?
No.
Like it's fucking weird. No, but like more money. Like I'm making like at least an extra $500 a paycheck more than I ever have, and
Okay.
I'm on the bottom part of the rung of this company.
Right.
Like I just fucking started. You know, so I'm like,
Like
what?
waiting
And
for it.
there's guys that I work with that are like, yeah, these guys that I work with that are like, oh yeah, I made like 90K last year. Like, what the fuck?
Right.
Like, are you serious? So so I'm just like, but I do like the job. I like the environment, everything like that. But like, it's very demanding. Honestly, it is a demanding job. But
Yeah.
I get weekends off. It's a 9 to 5 basically. So like, I don't know. It's weird that like to have this happen for me right now is I I was looking for a job like this in Denver the whole 9 years I was there, and I could never find it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
But
I'm definitely happy for you, man, because I know for a while it was just really like you had the delivery thing, which was decent, but it's kind of like,
yeah,
man, it wasn't the thing that you were really hoping for, and it's like, oh, Jesus, man. So, but yeah, I'm glad you found it. Um,
yeah,
I'm not. I'm sure my job is going to take a different turn about the beginning of the year, just because
yeah.
like we have our sales department and then we have our kitchen, but there's this thing called catering that needs to be like in between because like sales like we'll set up the thing and they're like they want to change something at the very last minute and stuff like that just really pisses off the kitchen. I'm like, you can't improvise all this stuff, and the way that you guys are setting this stuff up is stupid. And I think me and the chef made a server cry last Saturday, so that was fun. Well, one of two things happened because we talked to the salesperson. We already agreed what we were going to do. I'm like, great. And then the captain comes up and she's like, yeah, well, we don't have enough Schaefer's for that. I'm like, yes, we do. She's like, well, Alyssa already said we're going to change it. I'm like, and at that point, I fucking lost. I'm like, let's go talk to Alyssa then. And I just walk right past her. Come on, let's go. And she's like, I don't have time for this shit, Dave. I don't have. I'm like, I'm not even listening to her. I'm like, where's Alyssa? Where's Alyssa? Because one of two things happen. Either one, you called an audible, which is going to piss me off, or the other girl, fucking lied to me. I don't know which is going to be worse for who. I'm probably going to go equally apeshit on both of them. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know yet. I'm kind of excited to see what's going to happen. And um, Chef Tommy is following me. He's like, all right, Dave, what's going on? And she's like, yeah, we don't have enough Schaefer's. I'm like, I know you have more Schaefer's downstairs. And she's like, well, and keep in mind, this gal is actually, I've gotten along with her every single moment of the time working with her up until this point. And then, like, man, okay, this is gonna piss off a lot of like pot users out there, but and maybe alcoholics as well. But the thing that's having sex in your day job, one of the things they have in common is that if you have to get drunk or high to do either one of those, you fucked up in life. All right. You're either in
Yeah.
the wrong job or you're fucking the wrong person. One of the two. Either way, you are not in the right spot because you shouldn't have to get drunk or high to do either one of those things. So, but this person is constantly like, to quote a Judd Apatow movie, her eyes are always as red as Satan's dick. Like, she's just always blitzed all the time. It's like, we don't have time for this. This thing is like, yeah, it's in an hour and a half, and you have 10 people on your team, and you're telling me you can't get this stuff done, And so either way, I might just go back and say, like, listen, I want to be in charge of the catering, which means sales. I need sales. I'm not working under sales. They work with me. They know, just like the kitchen,
Yeah.
all this stuff. Because when things were left up to their devices, they make really, really weird decisions. There's, I'd rather them focus just on making money in sales and not trying to figure out how to decorate and how everything is going to look. I'll make sure that everything functions well and people actually eat the food. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Fuck.
it was pretty
No.
weird. At some point, um, salesperson's like, well, we're thinking we have too many people on. We might have to send somebody home. And oh man, I was fucking like, why don't you send the person home that's too fucking high to work right now? Like, And then the girl came back into the kitchen. He's like, this is really unprofessional, whatever. And she said something, kind of stomped off. And Tommy's like, hey, don't you ever fucking come back into this kitchen with that attitude. Get the fuck out. So now me and Tommy are both freaking hot. We're like, like, yes, we're very difficult to work with. We're emotional people. We're chefs. This is not going to go away. This is not changing. So even if they fired both of us today and the people they have to take our places, they're going to be just as emotional. Like, this doesn't change.
Yeah.
So, but either way, that was an interesting moment as far as the work and stuff. But I don't know. I'm going to try to see if I can get more money out of this job. Like, for the things I want to do and the things, I'll be fair about it. But it's one of those things where, like, while I was in Arizona and I was waiting tables and getting paid $4 an hour, that job that you're working now probably also existed. But because I never thought about looking outside of what I was able to do and to learn something different, I never, that opportunity passed by me so many times probably. I'm like, shit, but.
Well, I mean, I just, there's things I know I can't do.
Mm.
There's things I can't do. Like, one is I'm not a very good, I can't say I'll never be able to do this, but I'm not a good manager.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can be, but like, I don't know. I'm too much of a people pleaser. So like, I fired a guy once and it was awful.
Yeah.
I hated it. Every fucking moment of it. And it was totally his fault. He was doing heroin in the fucking bathroom. So I was like, yeah, bro, you gotta go. Like, sorry, dude. But like, I hated doing it. Like, 'cause I don't like doing that shit to people, man.
Yeah.
But like, also I am emotional. Like, when shit hits the fan and I get all like, and some guy's not pulling his weight.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'll be calm to a
frantic.
point. Yeah.
Yeah, I can be frantic, but
I get pissed when people don't move as fast as I do. That's a part of my whole thing is also, like, you have to move as fast as the 46-year-old fat guy. If you can't do that, then I don't need you here. That's kind of how I feel about it.
No, like your point is as a person who does one of those things, you're not wrong. Because dude, the sexy pizza days, holy fuck! Like, I had to be high to do that shit.
Mm-hmm.
It was like part of the whole thing. It was part of the whole thing. It's all we fucking did was just get high all the fucking time. I swear to God. Wow. I remember one time, okay, I'm the AGM.
Mm-hmm.
My buddy Adam is he's the general manager, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we were living together at the time too. So he has a med card.
Mm-hmm.
He gets a candy bar that's literally 500 fucking, I think it's 500 fucking milligrams.
Ugh.
Right? And it's broken up into small little chunks. So like, each chunk is like, I think 50 or something like that, right?
Right.
So I take about, I eat a whole chunk. So that's 50 milligrams. I'm wrecked. He eats, I think, like fucking 300 because his tolerance is way higher than mine.
Right, but
so,
still.
But like, and we're trying to do inventory. We're counting inventory.
Wow.
We're doing inventory, and he's also making the order. Like, it got to a point because we're like equally high. Even though he took way more than me, we were like right at the same level of high.
Right.
Like, I was wrecked. And it was a point where like I'm trying to make dough and I'm like cutting it up, but I'm weighing it. I look at him, he looks at me, and we started laughing for like 15 minutes for no fucking reason. By the way, we try to run a business. That's the fucking fucked up part. Like, we're like the head bosses of a business.
Right.
And we're so wrecked. And it never got us in trouble. Like, no one, because the owner didn't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody gave a shit. We would go out back and smoke blunts and shit all the time.
See,
we had Yelp reviews. We had Yelp reviews that said, "Good luck trying to get someone who's not stoned." Swear to God. And I'm like, holy fuck, because it was true. We're doing knife hits in the back. My buddy's rig broke. He had a fucking dab rig or something, right? And it broke or something happened where it didn't work, right? So we took 2 knives, we stuffed them in the fucking, in the oven part where the fucking flame is.
Mm-hmm.
There's 2 doors, right? The door you put the food in, and then there's a door that's where the fucking, where the flame thing is, right? Where the flame is. We fucking stuck 2 knives in there, so they were red hot, and then pressed like some wax onto it, and then basically freebase the shit in the back. And we're doing that shit like on the regular, man. Dude, we would do dabs and then have manager meetings. It was fucking retarded. It was the stupidest shit I ever fucking had. That job made no sense. That job was just, I don't know. I'm so happy I got out of it. You know
See,
what I'm
that's
saying? It was
where
one of those jobs like,
if I could send the guys that were like the guys who kind of were just the young guys who were just spacing out all the time. I wish I could send them to that job and be like, here's a place you'll be happy. You could run, you could jump, you can have other friends to play with. You guys will all be wrecked, and you can have fun there. But then they'd have to work with a bunch of people who are even more stoners than they were, and then see what happens when
yeah,
they get holding the bag. Like, shit,
yeah,
how come I always have to keep showing up and everybody calls out? And I'm like, I don't know.
yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean, that's calling out. I mean, in the restaurant business, I'm shocked that people are doing
Yeah,
that. You know what I'm saying? Because that was not a thing. Because like every restaurant job I've ever had, someone called in, you're fucking someone over,
yeah,
right? And they took that shit serious.
mm-hmm.
And when you came back, man, a lot of people gave you dirty looks, shit like that, or like, they would openly walk up and be like, "Where the fuck were you yesterday?"
Yeah,
And then they'd be like, "Oh, well, I was sick." I've only had to call out of work, I think maybe a couple times, but it was like legit,
yeah,
like crazy shit that I couldn't come in. Something crazy was happening where like there's no way I'm coming in.
right.
But also like I quit that job in epic fashion. So like where I told the manager to go fuck himself as I left, all that shit. Threw a squeegee like a javelin in the dish pit. Was like "fuck you, bro," and just walked out the back on a Friday night like a real asshole. So I just had it. It was one of those jobs where like you hit the boiling point. You're like, I think I'm done here. Like this is the end. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
we had
Have you
somebody
ever had
walk
that?
out about a week ago, but there was a bunch of other little stories where the reason why that dude walked out, and it's not like it was all on him, but yeah, you know what? If there's any school teachers out there listening, do me a favor. Well, one of your kid in your class keeps calling out or being sick, give extra homework to everybody else that's in that classroom. Do me a favor and make them study twice as hard. Like, well, Bobby isn't here, so we're gonna have to study harder because Bobby isn't here. And they're like, well, why do we have to study harder? I'm like, well, I don't know. It's just because this is how it works in a day job. All right, somebody doesn't show up, everybody has to work harder. So we're gonna teach you how that feels right now. Like, well, shit, Sally and Mike and Scott, they all got COVID. I'm like, you guys are gonna fucking have to study 24 hours now. Like, everybody has to. I'm sorry,
That's like
kids.
a
This is how
super
it
legit
goes.
thing too.
Yeah. So that way, I'm like, I mean, granted, schoolyard bullying and fights will like skyrocket.
Oh yeah,
I had to
you
learn
miss one class.
trigonometry because of you, you son of a bitch. This will teach you to get pneumonia. Like,
There's like 5 or 6 people in the whole school that don't get the like perfect attendance award.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's a weird. It's so weird because I know I could feel myself turning into that old guy that's just like screaming at the moon. Damn you,
Yeah,
moon! What the fuck? But
dude. So that reminds me of a story. So when I used to when I moved to New York, right? And I was like, what grade was I in? I was in 7th grade, right? I moved to New York, upstate New York, right?
mm-hmm,
Moved there around like I think we got there around God, was it February.
mm,
Yeah, it's February. It's like no, it's Christmas time. So basically, Christmas all the way to like May. I was in school, right?
mm-hmm,
That's only half the year.
yeah,
It's the back half of the year, right? So, but like about a month before school's over, they bring us all in the auditorium because they're giving out awards for like, you know, best fucking, best this, best that, whatever. So they do perfect attendance.
mm-hmm.
They start naming off people who had perfect attendance. They called my name, and I was like, "What?" I was so confused. I had no idea. I'm like, "Is this what? Like, how did I win this?" And at the moment my name got read off, a friend of mine, like 2 rows ahead of me, yells out, that motherfucker called out on Tuesday." Well, he called out, but he wasn't even here on Tuesday. You're gonna give him this award? I had no fucking idea what was going on, so I just walked up and took it, and I had a stupid smile on my face because I'm just like, I don't deserve this at all. Like I don't know what the fuck this is. It was, it was the weirdest thing. It was the weirdest thing ever. Oh man, it was. Yeah, I was pissed. I'm not pissed, but I was just confused.
Mm.
But it was hilarious. Like I have no business winning this award.
Uh,
But
man, it's you know, it's funny as I'm sitting here bitching about little things that are going on in my job, which were well, here's a weird thing. My last boss, not my the first boss I had, the one who taught me a lot of things about catering and like sales and
yeah,
logistics of it. We would be friendly with each other and stuff, but she was riding my ass constantly, and it wasn't. Let's put it this way: the amount of stress that I had working that job, I gained a shitload of weight because of the stress and everything. It was like constantly being needled all the time, and I really, really fucking hated it. Right. But
yeah,
after this past month, and then seeing the stuff that was coming from the sales department, I'm like, that's not going to be enough food. No, you have to set this up. What? Or like at one point, like there was like a prime rib, and my current boss or chef was like, all right, how much mashed potatoes do we have? And I'm like, all right, and I'm going through. I'm like, all right, we got 250 people, but only about 150 people are going to get this. That's at times 8 ounces, about 128. And so I've got the formulas and everything in my head where I'm trying to figure out. I'm like, you need 3 gallons of mashed potatoes. He's like, you think that'll be enough? I'm like, that'll be a little more than enough. You're gonna have some extra, but at least you don't need any more than that, because they had like 8 gallons that they were gonna make. I'm
yeah,
like, no, you only need three. And so even the same thing way they were setting things up and all this other stuff, I realized that the reason why I know a lot of the stuff is because that pain in the ass boss that I had. And so
oh yeah,
I actually sent her a message and be like, just wanted to say thanks because the sales team, while they're working really hard, they don't really understand the logistics of what catering is, and I was able to help them out, and that's because of all the things you taught me. So I just wanted to say thanks and Merry Christmas. That will probably be the last time I ever talk to her,
yeah,
but it was just one of those things where I'm like, it's kind of weird. Sometimes you go through some weird shit, and then you end up using some of those skills sometime later. Um, but the
yeah.
weird,
I mean, I the best teachers I've ever had were like were like no shit people.
right?
You know, I mean, it sucked going through it, but then like later in life, you're like, okay, no, I get why they were like that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
here's the thing is now I really don't want to. As much as I enjoy this job, like how many times have you said this is the last day job that I'm going to take? like, uh,
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
like every single one
I
that I've
said
had
that
for the
about.
past 20 years.
Well, I stayed at Argonaut way too long because I wanted that to be my last job.
Right.
I was like, I'll do this and then I'll be a comic, and that did not happen. But
Yeah.
as far as like making my living off of it, you know what I'm saying? So, um, but yeah, I was staying there because I was like, I want this because I like the job,
Mm-hmm.
and the thought of having to get another fucking job was like, oh, I don't want to do this, you know. So I just stayed there forever. But eh,
Well, it's kind of weird because always keep getting that feeling, but the trick is, you know what it is once I get comfortable in a job, that's when I start to resent everything. You
yeah,
know, that's usually what happens and stuff. So that's now it's taken me years to finally realize that, but now that I know, like, man, when everything is pissing me off, that means I'm not moving in the right direction. It has nothing to do with the job that I'm in. It's usually just means it has to something to do with comedy, or you're not pushing yourself in a particular direction, whether it's like physical wellness or if it's mental or musical or anything like that. So I had a little bit of a break from that because I had that show on Thursday, the one up at Woodlands Park. I don't know. Did I tell you about this or no?
yes.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. I
Oh,
think you probably did.
yeah.
Was it really high when you told me?
Yes. So
Uh,
let me know if
I think you did tell. I think you told me that it went well.
yeah,
Right?
no, that part it did. It went well
Okay.
for me. I did pretty well. It was kind of the gal, the producer. She was posting pictures on Facebook of the show, but she didn't take one of me. Which to me that means that she was too busy watching my act instead of maybe that might have been it. Either way, she's like, "I'm so sorry I didn't take any pictures of you on that." I'm like, "Ah, don't worry about it." She's like, "You stayed on point and you were very, very professional and stuff and consistent. That was really awesome. Thank you." And I'm like, "Well, I'm a very professional open micer, so thank you. You're welcome." And uh, it was funny because I watched the opener bomb. He's a nice guy, but he's still kind of new, and he just I don't know if I listen, guys. You're free to make whatever act you want to make and what material or whatever your art, whatever your heart desires. But I will say this: nobody likes a fucking bunch of puns. All right, especially bad ones. About 10 minutes of them. Nobody they're not going to be into it. I don't know why you think it is. By the way, while I'm at it, young men, nobody's going to think a rape joke is going to be super fucking hilarious. I don't know why you want to give that one a shot. You're free to give it a shot.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you right now, I'm sure between Jake and I, we've seen at least 1,000 rape jokes at open mics, and none of them went over well. So,
I mean, also, like, if you even remotely bring up rape in Denver, it's like, what the fuck's the point? I mean, I'm not saying there can't be a funny one. I've heard some funny ones. I've heard some fucking hilarious ones. Patrice O'Neal's Pepsi Cola rapist one is hilarious. But like, I'm not saying it can't be done. That's why I would never say you can't do that.
Yeah, neither would I. But I think if you really want to tell rape jokes, you got to talk about raping men. That's basically the only way you're going to make that funny. Not boys. That's been done.
Yeah,
but men.
It's got to be dudes.
It's got to be dudes.
Grown ass men.
You could talk about like you ended up you roofied some dude while he was listening to Joe Rogan, and then you fucking left your seat in his ass to go back home to his family all ashamed, and people might think that's hilarious. So then at least I'm sure there's some folks out here, crowds in Denver would be like, yes, but I don't know.
Yeah. You get that clap there that everyone fucking wants, apparently.
Exactly. So, you know what? I might give that a shot. I'm like, I've never told one rape joke, and I had no desire to. But wonder if I start telling jokes about raping grown men to see if anybody really gets on board with it. That would be really, really odd, But yeah, I'm not going to do it. But
my whole thing was trying to get away with saying certain words. Like, I wanted to get to a point where I could be the guy, the white comic in town, drop an N-word bomb. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like, not because I never called anybody it, never referenced it, never referenced anybody as it. But I've said the word. But there's as a guy who looks like me, there has to be a way. I know it's like disarming a nuclear bomb.
Right.
Like, I understand that. But there's got to be a way for someone to be able to say that and make it work.
Yeah.
That weird thing, I gotta like. There's got to be something. There's something funny with that fucking word. You know what I mean?
There's something comparison.
A goofy ass fucking word. Like it's so like. I'm more like it's more like what's the thing that people call like when they study language?
Etymology.
Something like that. Yeah. Like I really like I'm really curious into how words are made, or as far as like what they mean, or this and that.
I think that one's pretty simple. Bunch of racist white guys were like, "Hey, what's a word that sounds really aggressive, but it's going to sound really awesome if they say it in a couple centuries?" And dude's like, "I got it. Try this one."
Yeah, why that word? Why is that? Why did they years ago choose that one? Like what? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't.
I've seen a lot of young comics that try to be edgy and try to drop that into their set, but it just doesn't come out.
Yeah, I never would do that.
I've seen that.
It would have to be thought out. I mean, I'd have to like I said, it's like disarming a nuclear bomb. There's a subtle dance. There's a certain thing you gotta do. You wiggle in, you wiggle out, you fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't stay there very, you know what I'm saying? It's not, these guys are coming in trying to fucking disarm this bomb with a hammer.
Yeah.
You smash it dead. You know what I mean? They're fucking morons about it. Like, there's a way around it.
I think
but like,
the best racial
like, I've got cunt jokes. I've got bitch jokes. I have all these, like, I just like fucking swearing, and I want to see how far I can go with it. That's what I got. You know what I'm saying? I got a faggot joke. Oh shit! Can we say that out here?
Nobody's watching.
Huh?
I have a bit that I want. You know what? I'll tell you when we hit stop on record. But
okay. Yeah. I got one of those.
Yeah. But which we probably ought around 30 here. We're at 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, oh no, what I was trying to, the point I was trying to get to about the whole job and stuff is that I was feeling really, really good and exhausted after I did the show, because that was the most I'd ever gotten paid to do a spot, and it was a decent amount of money for like 15 minutes worth of work, you know. So I was happy with it. I'm very happy. I hope to perform there again. That was also the one where I was like, "What can you tell me about the crowd?" She's like, "Well, they're very conservative, so try not to be too dirty." I'm like, "Why? Was there a bad
Yeah.
experience?" And she's like, "Yeah, we had this one comic one time. He went on for like 11 minutes just about masturbating." I'm like, "Really?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Was it? Did you talk about coconut oil?" And she's like, "Yes." Do you know this guy? I'm like, "Yeah, he's one of my closest friends." But yeah, Bear's like, I told Bear that story. He's like, and he was like, "Oh wait, yeah, I remember. Yeah, yep. I'm pretty sure that was me, Dave. Yep, you know." But it was cool also seeing Rick Bryant work the room and really, really get him loosened up and stuff. He kind of took the energy to a completely different level, you know, which I thought was awesome. So I don't know. I learned a whole lot while doing it, and
Rick's a pro, man.
yeah,
Rick is always he's always been a pro. He's a hell of a comic. He's an OG.
mm,
Like he's a guy that people can learn from. Like
mm,
because he's a pro. He's been able to brand himself. Like he's everything. If you want to learn how to do comedy, like as far as the business side and stuff like that, his act is good too. I'm not
mm,
trying to make his act sound like it's not good. It is good. I'm talking like his other side, like the side that I'm terrible at.
mm,
I've always appreciated that he was able to like like with his dumb stickers. I saw those motherfuckers everywhere.
yeah,
I see him on gas station pumps. I see him at bars.
wow,
Like where the taps are. I'd see him in the bathrooms. Like he put them everywhere,
mm,
and you would see him everywhere in Denver. And he had a catchphrase, all that stuff. He dresses professionally. He fucking pimps his own shit. He travels around. He does his own shit. Like, yeah, he's a guy that you should honestly like. If he ever lets you get a chance, anybody seeing this, if you're a comic and you want to know how like that side of the world is done,
mm,
fucking just hang around him. Hang around him. I'm not saying that you should fucking like be up his ass,
yeah.
but he's a guy that I would ask advice about that kind of shit for because he's fucking amazing at it.
Yeah, I think I'm doing the show at the Raices Brewery on the 29th of December, and he's the host of it. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to try to pick his brain a
Is
little
he
bit.
run?
The what?
Is he running it? Is he
Uh,
running that show or is
I
he just
think
hosting it?
I think he's hosting it. Ricky Ramos was the one
Yeah.
who booked me. So,
Yeah.
either way, that should be interesting. And there was one other thing I was trying to get to, and oh yeah, okay. So there's all the good things that are going on with my day job and everything. I just have to remind myself to keep pushing on the other stuff because I already know what happens. Even if I get everything that I want, I'm still probably going to be miserable because that's kind of my mo. So, um, but yeah, that was the last thing. Oh,
Yeah.
let's see. I'm trying to check to see the folks who've been dipping in and out of the chat room. Um,
Anybody?
well, nobody that we know, and uh, I was hoping my buddy John would have, Mr. Divian would have popped in, just because it was weird. He put up a tweet a couple days ago saying that he's enjoying the ride on the depression spiral. You know, how's everybody else
Oh,
doing? So
ooh.
sent him a message or a tweet, and I'm like, hey man, I'm free on Monday if you want to talk. And he's like, no, I've got things going on. Why? What's going on? I'm like, what do you mean why? What's going on? And you sound like you're kind of down. You fuck. Like what? What do you expect, you little you weirdo? But either way, um, I don't know. It's a brand new week. I'm not. I shouldn't be exhausted. I'm gonna go hit up some more mics this week. I'm very excited about
Nice.
that. Getting back on that saddle, and so
What?
when do you think you're getting a spot? By the way, I know you said you were gonna stick with your brothers for a little bit, but
Oh, I'm just waiting to like kind of get some money together. Um, I my pay schedule is all fucking goofed up.
oh,
Like all of my bills were synced up to my last job as far as the 2 week pay schedule.
oh yeah,
This one, it's literally a week off.
oh,
So so my first paycheck was only like 1 week's worth,
mm,
and I was like, fuck. but it's all off sync. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I'm trying to, like, I just got my first full paycheck. I had to catch a bunch of stuff, and then after that, I'm gonna like bank like $500 or something like that, if
Nice.
not more, every pay period. So I mean, by the time it starts getting warm again here, I'll have hopefully somewhere in the neighborhood of like 4 or 5 grand, if not. Well, I wouldn't say that much, but I have a decent amount of money,
Oh, fair
you
enough, man.
know, so I can get a place. Like, because here's the thing, like I could probably like save for like a month or two and get a roommate situation
Mm-hmm.
on one of those fucking one of those sites, because there's like a thing or an app called Roomies where people like go, I have a room for rent, you can find some decent shit there. But like, I kind of want to see if I can get my own place. I've never had my own place in my life, so you know what I'm saying.
Right.
And if I can do that now, if I can like, if they let me stay here and just bank money for like the next like 3 4 months, you know, then fucking I can do that without a problem. Because I buy furniture, I can buy all kinds of shit.
Right.
I have nothing. Just clothes, and a fucking PlayStation 4. But,
Oh man, I'm
but
looking
yeah,
at
no,
the.
that's I'm trying. I might get in touch with your brother-in-law there.
Oh
So
yeah, definitely. Let's see, 20 properties here. Boulder Creek, that's on 52nd Street, 741 to 773. Interesting.
the rents got high here all of a sudden too.
Yeah. Uh, let's see. I'm curious to see what they had. This is all where, and you want to live in Phoenix, or where do you want to live in?
I kind of like it, like North Phoenix, kind of like what you call it. Because I work off of like Cave Creek and 101,
Mm, okay,
like
let's
near
see.
Deer Valley, like right near Deer Valley.
There's one for 800 a month. Let's see.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, here, let me see where. There's one for 900 Bell Ridge, Desert Star 895. Let's check out that 800. And it's not Paradise Valley and North. Like, no, I'm not giving you my information. But either way, yeah, it's just funny. I looked at
Yeah,
apartment guide and stuff, and I'm trying to see here. I wonder if I'm curious what the. I won't look at it right now because we're doing a podcast. But the apartment that I used to live in, I'm curious what the rent is for that now, and see if it's if they jacked it up to 1,000 or if it's still like 500 600. You know,
yeah. I mean, who knows nowadays?
I mean, it's
It's
sketchy as
just
fuck now, but
it's one of those things too where it's like this is like this is a weird deja vu for me because when I moved to Denver, it was right before all the prices went to the fucking roof, like 2012, right?
mm-hmm.
I was looking at studio apartments for like $500 a month. I finally get some money together. I looked again, like $1,000 a month. I'm like, what the fuck, man?
Well, it's
So
generally, I think
yeah,
it's probably the more you keep looking at it, the more the prices go up. It's the same thing with car rentals or airline tickets. Like if you keep looking at
yeah.
the same thing, it's holy shit, that's not what it's good. Interesting. Um, they're like, hey, we got apartments for 2,000 in Tempe. Why the fuck would anybody want to spend that much? Jesus
I
Christ!
know.
Like it's not that great there, you guys. Jesus. Uh. This place is fucked. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, but I want to say like in northern Phoenix. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that part near Glendale, because that's like where I work. So, and anything any way that I can avoid not having to get on the highway to go to work is a good way to get to
Hmm. Yeah.
work. You know what I mean? I hate getting on the highway. If I can avoid it, I'll avoid it like the fucking plague. But
Yeah, man. It's not so bad. What are you talking about? You just got to get used to.
17's I mean, I could deal with it. It's not that bad. You know what I mean? Especially if you leave early enough in the fucking morning. You don't
Right.
really, you know what I'm saying? So
Jesus, man, fucking hey, they want 900 bucks for the apartment that I used to rent.
Shit, man.
There's no fucking way that thing was worth that much. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it was smaller than the. Actually, no, it was about the same size as the original apartment that I had when we moved here. Or but I
Oh
don't know.
yeah, I remember that place. The third floor one.
Yeah, the fourth. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
well, the thing is that thing will come down when the students leave. It'll probably go down to like 600 or something. But apparently, my cousin says that part of town is just loaded with like syringes and just people hanging out and homeless people living on the streets down there now. Like it is with everywhere. So,
Yeah.
what can we do? This world is such an interesting place. Uh, okay, so what's the final advice we can give to any young people who are listening to this show? Fucking show up to work.
Yeah. I mean, listen, like Louis C.K. has a joke about it where he's like, where people like it, where people get have jobs and like, I don't deserve to be here, and it's like, no, you do. Society has decided this is where you belong. You work, you work here. This is what you're doing right now. This is where you put yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can go get something else that's better if you want, but like at this moment, that is not what's happening.
Yeah.
You know?
This is where you're stuck. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and also fuck mental health days. That's the other thing that I'm thinking about. People like sometimes you need a mental health day. Like, shut up, man. Like, so you know
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
I don't know if they understand that them taking their mental health day is going to cause a lot of fucking pain and stress on a bunch of other people, and they don't get to take a mental
Yeah.
health day. It's I don't know. It's a weird thing where I have a choice to be compassionate, and I'm choosing not to be. Because I'm a guy. That's the kind of guy I am. Other than that, man, I think we already did the plugs at the top of the show, so I won't bore you guys with that again. Do you have anything you're plugging there, Jake?
Not at the moment.
Not
I
at the
mean,
moment.
trying to once I get my apartment and all that stuff, like, and I can do this through a computer and then my fucking phone in my car.
Yeah.
Then I'll be able to kind of figure out what the fuck I'm doing.
Fair enough,
So
man. Well, cool, guys. Don't forget to check us out. We're also on Instagram, Mansplaining JD, and I think I had a Twitter, but I'm not really using Twitter anymore. And I'm not even going to tell you about the Facebook because we don't really look at Facebook. I barely use that anymore. But you can check us out on Rumble. We have some of our videos that we put up there. And like I said, I'll say it one more time, mansplainingjd.locals.com. Come join the conversation over there. If you have questions, comments, or whatever about the show or any advice questions, fucking let it rip on there, man, and we'll see what we can do. That's it for me. Signing off for Mansplaining. I'm Dave.
I'm Jake.
Stay toxic, everybody.
See y'all.